Official opposition in question. The honourable member for Calgary-Currie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My questions are to the Premier. The intent of this government, Mr. Speaker, and this Premier is clear. They want to force Albertans to pay for billions of dollars of electricity transmission lines without any independent hearing to see if those lines are actually needed. That's what Bill 50, introduced by this government, means. Why is the government taking such a casual attitude towards Albertans' money?
The Honourable the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, a number of public hearings have been held in the province of Alberta with respect to the need for transmission. We also hear from Albertans that we want to move various forms of energy, whether it be wind, solar, geothermal, biomass, coal-fired, natural gas, ensure that there's competitiveness in the generation, but also moving the energy from its source to where the customer is. And consumer is. Our lines are congested, they're aging, we're losing a lot of electrons on the line as a result of the congestion, roughly $250,000 a year, and the plan is good. It will proceed to start with the critical infrastructure that's necessary to grow this province into the future.
The honourable member.
Mr. Speaker, many electricity experts are saying that the plan is not good, that some of the lines in this gold-plated plan are not necessary, but the government explicitly refuses to hear their points at a public interest hearing. Instead, at the last minute, they're giving less than 2 weeks' notice for one single committee hearing, Mr. Speaker. That's less notice than you get if you're being fired. Will the Premier admit that this is simply window dressing, simply cover for him on a controversial issue just before his leadership review?
The Honourable the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I think over the next few days we'll hear this kind of misinformation in the House, all tied to leadership. I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, I'm not backing away from the principles that got me here. No matter what the threat from the opposition is. And let's clarify, again, the misinformation that the minister or the member gave earlier. There is a policy field committee that will be meeting on resources and environment. This has been instituted by this government. We've never had public policy committees ever meet in the province, and they're there to hear submissions by the public. And on the 2nd and 4th, we're hearing for the Canadian Wind Energy Association. Sierra Club will give a presentation on grizzly bears. Alberta Geothermal Energy Association will provide a presentation on potential for geothermal energy development, and also the Alberta Federation of Rural Electrification Association, Independent Power Producers Society of Alberta, NMAX, EPCOR are all expected to provide presentations about electricity transportation. That is fact, not that.
The honourable member for Calgary-Currie. Oh, okay, just a second, honourable member. Did I hear the honourable member for Edmonton Centre rise on a point of order? Yes. Did I? Yes. The honourable member for Edmonton Centre, I said.
No, sir. No, sir.
Now, what did the honourable member for Edmonton Highlands Norwood rise on?
A point of order, Mr.
Okay, the honourable member for Calgary-Currie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now that we have that straightened out, if the Premier thinks that having public input on Bill 50 is necessary, Mr. Speaker, I'm not convinced he is. If he's only setting aside 2 days of hearings, why not pull Bill 50, send it to the Standing Committee for a proper series of hearings? The 2-hour sessions are not nearly enough.
Mr. Speaker, the bill is going to get the most public hearing right here in this Assembly.
Exactly.
We've got a couple more stages to proceed, and it'll be done here. And all these members can bring their points of view of their constituents to this House, and we'll debate the bill. But that is the way democracy works, I believe.